Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I'm back. This is part 3 of What If Deku had a glitch Quirk, and dude, I'm excited for part 3. Make sure to leave a like and leave a sub and leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. It helps the channel, helps me, all that stuff. Month of December coming up very, very soon. As you guys know, it's the best. I'm gonna be transparent. It's the best month for revenue, and I guarantee you, I'm going to at least bare minimum daily uploads on this channel for the month of December. Not going to miss a day. I'm going to stick to that. I mean, barring some crazy emergency, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with 100% daily uploads. But I might even throw in some full-length what ifs, boys. I might do a couple movies that are no-parter, straight-up movies, hour and a half, 2 hour long. We'll see if I can actually do it. I'm going to try my best. I want to get y'all some stuff that is special, but also will help me as well on the channel growing, and also in terms of money. I'm gonna be honest. Hey, I'm honest. I'm straightforward with you boys. I'm just gonna be straight up with it. With that said, though, I don't want to waste much more of your time because I want to go right into the what if, obviously. So let's get it. Last time, Izuku Midoriya was glitched out to the point where he was sent to what seems to be a different universe. Yes, a different universe. UA High School, as he looks around, looks completely different. He doesn't know what it's all about. He doesn't know what's happening, but everything in UA looks different. And as he walks around, he sees some very familiar faces. Very familiar faces. And as he kind of just looks around, he sees your typical people, right? He sees Ochako Araka, he sees Katsuki Bakugo, he sees all these people. And he approaches them and they ask him, hey, like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing out here anyways? In which Izuku says that he doesn't really know, that he was just getting some training in. Yeah, some training in. In which they say, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, but are you going to head back to the dorms? Or, like, well, what do you got going on? In which Izuku's confused. The dorms? In which, yeah, Bakugo says the dorms. They have dorms and stuff like that. And actually, his room's right next to his. So I don't understand what's confusing. In which Izuku is, well, he's floored by this. This is just one difference already in this universe. Like, what is even happening? In which he goes with them back to the dorms, and he actually enters and sees that everybody there, well, they're the same. It's the same people, same students, all of that. He wonders what's truly different in this universe. Yes, the whole dorms thing is different. The situation, the way UA looks is different. But what else is really different? Like, truly, what else is different? And, well, Bakugo would tell him, like, hurry up and get on his basically his uniform, that they gotta go to school. And they gotta go to class, like, ASAP. So he heads in and he puts on his uniform and realizes that the uniform itself is actually different too, inversing colors, but that's really not that big of a deal. It's a freaking uniform, right? Who cares? And he heads back and he would follow Bakugo to class. And when he would follow Bakugo to class, he would enter and see that it's Aizawa. Yeah, it's just Aizawa. But Aizawa is a lot more cheery. He's a lot nicer. And frankly, he has a smile on his face that is kind of eerie a lot of the time. And Izuku is confused by this. Like, really confused by this. And they go through their normal lessons and stuff like that. But Izuku, he's kind of losing it. He doesn't know what the hell's happening and what even happened to the point where this would occur, but somehow this universe is just different. Like, it's some things are flipped on its head, like Aizawa, right? Aizawa's happy and go lucky. Bakugo himself is so much nicer. Everybody else's personality, some are the same, but others are like flipped complete opposite. He doesn't know what the hell is happening until, well, the screen would come down and things would begin to start appearing on a news station. It seems like there's another villain attack, but this villain attack, well, it's not like the ones they were thinking of, and not like the ones that Izuku was expecting, because this villain attack is from somebody known as All Might. What? What do you mean, All Might? All Might's attacking? In which Aizawa says that, yes, it seems like All Might's attacking once again. He does this every couple of months, and it seems like it throws the society into some really big havoc. In which Izuku is He's taken back by this. What do you mean? All Might's a hero. All Might is somebody that saves people. All Might does everything in his power to save people. But everyone's like, no, what are you talking about? All Might's been a villain. All Might's horrible. All Might took this power that is ever growing and basically sticks it with user after user, and we have to stop him. That's what every single person is all about. Every single person is becoming a hero for, to stop this tyrant, because the last person that tried to stop him was, well, codename All for One, and he basically was trying to risk it all to save us, but unfortunately he passed and he died. But he left a successor as well, someone that is training, someone that is trying to get stronger as well. And his name, well, his name isn't really known to many people. His name is actually not really known to anybody, but they just know that he has a successor, in which Izuku is really, really tripping out now. Like, sincerely tripping out, because he's thinking, well, this is flipped on its head. Supposedly there's a villain named All for One, but he's not a villain anymore. He's a hero, and All Might himself used to be the greatest hero. Now he's the #1 villain? Of course, Izuku is obviously making no sense of this and thinks that this is ridiculous, that this can't be happening. There's no way this is happening, until Aizawa tells them that they're actually going to be doing a work study, something similar to an internship and stuff like that, and they're going to be along the lines of just working with other pro heroes. And Izuku's like, okay, well, this is fine, I guess, like this would be okay. And that's until, well, he gets some offers. His offers are extremely limited, and Aizawa basically tells him, like, oh, well, that's what he gets for doing bad in the UA Sports Festival, in which Izuku's like, what? Like, what are you talking about, doing bad in the UA Sports Festival? And, of course, he has to just go along with it. He doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know that this is, like, a completely different thing now. He wants to make sure that he weighs his options, because he doesn't want to do anything stupid. If he does something stupid and basically gives his own idea up and quickly is like, oh yeah, no, this is nothing like this, and no, it's like this, yeah, everyone's going to look at him like he's psychotic. So he tries to play it cool in a way. And this would lead him to eventually working with somebody by the name of Sir Nighteye. And Sir Nighteye is someone Izuku has not met, like, at all. But this Sir Nighteye, well, he has a pretty interesting quirk. A quirk that would allow him to basically partially look into the future, but in a different way. It seems like Sir Nighteye in this instance actually is able to functionally jump into the future himself and affect things in that direction, but also make it so that people jump in the future with him. Now, this is only a 24-hour period, so just like normal, he can only look forward a certain amount, and it only works to a certain extent, but he's able to literally jump his body into the future and blipping in and out. And Izuku is, well, he begins to tell Sir Nighteye about all of the stuff that's happening to him, that maybe he'll understand, and frankly, he does. He doesn't understand necessarily like what's happening to him, but he does understand what he's kind of going through. He basically tells him, like, he needs to keep a cap on all this and only leave it to him. Do not tell any other people, because that could lead to some unwanted consequences. Izuku tells him, like, look, he wants to get out of here and go to his other universe, like ASAP, and he doesn't know what he's gonna do to do it, but he obviously wants to get out of here. Look, it's nothing against them. They're good people, but he wants to get back home to his mother and all of these people, but he doesn't understand why. Why is it different? Why did it just... And then he realizes the glitching, all of it. Mei Hatsume warned him of this. And as he's basically explaining to Sir Nighteye his quirk, what happened, well, Sir Nighteye says that he should be able to just phase or glitch back into that reality. I know it sounds kind of simplistic, but he should be able to just phase. He should be able to just go right back in. If he can vibrate at the proper frequency or glitch to the extent, he should be able to point himself in the right direction. In which Izuku thinks, well, okay, but is there really a guarantee that he's going to be able to do that? Like, what if he just messes up and he sends them to another universe? What happens then? Like, seriously, there's some very, very big consequences. But, of course, Sir Nighteye would even bring up the idea of him kind of picturing it. Picturing that he's going to this universe. Picturing that he wants to go to a specific universe. And then if he does, then boom, right? Then he's able to go through and he's there. But Izuku's like, he doesn't know if that's going to work. He doesn't know. In which Sir Nighteye says, there's no way to find out other than trying. In which Izuku asks him, well, can't he use his quirk and jump in? And Sir Nighteye cuts him off. He has no idea if it's going to work. And there's a good chance that it just messes with his quirk as well, trying to jump in and out of a universe. I mean, we're talking that Izuku obviously has someone else at where he's at now. Either they swapped places and he's currently in a different area, or he basically put the other person that is supposed to be him under a realm of sleep. That he's basically out cold for this dormant amount of time, and now Izuku has taken over. Now, he doesn't understand and doesn't know for sure if that's the case, but that's the reality of basically two outcomes. And it could be many more outcomes, but nobody knows for 100%. And at the end of the day, you gotta make a choice. You gotta choose. Are you going to take the risk and try to jump back, or are you going to live with possibly suffocating your doppelganger to basically nothingness? That it would get to the point where he is just dormant, sleeping like he's in a coma. In which Izuku thinks about it and says, you're right. I have to try. I have to try and get back to my world. In which he begins to vibrate. He begins to glitch out. And as he can feel the surging beneath his feet, as he can feel the electromagnetic fields, they feel different. They feel inversed, as if it's like some sort of different parallel dimension that he's currently in which he tries his best, trying to force his way through. But as he does, well, everything would stop. Frozen. As if the time itself has now stopped. But Izuku looks around and realizes time hasn't stopped. That something happened. When he tried to go back, there's something blocking it. There's someone. In which they would hear a loud crash and time would resume almost in a blink, and immediately someone would come barreling through the area. This is All Might. All Might donning a different version of his outfit, something completely different to the attire that he once held in the other universe. Izuku stands in front of All Might, and All Might would say that he doesn't belong here, that he can tell, he can feel it, he can smell it, that this kid, he's from a different universe. He doesn't know what he did or what he can do, but he's been having fun with these people, messing with these people, torturing these people. And he's been getting bored. And he could tell that this kid right here, maybe he'll cure his boredom. But if he doesn't, well, then he'll just force him to take him to this other universe, and then he'll cure his boredom that way. In which Izuku would be in complete shock as All Might would come barreling at him, trying to land punches, and Izuku would try and dodge, phasing through it, and he continues to just phase in and out and dodging this and that, and eventually he would just get to the point where he feels exhausted, he feels drained, but he feels something beneath his feet. He can feel the electromagnetic fields crossing and just accelerating once again. He can feel them surging his body. He can feel the connection with the ground, to the technology, to everything. That he may be a glitch, something that would basically pop in and out of different universes, different out of times, different out of space-time continuums, but this is the reality. The reality is that Izuku has a time, has a timeline, has a reality that he is grounded to. And he can feel that this electromagnetic field is not the same, is not the one he once knew, but it feels different. As it surges through him, Izuku would plant his feet and he would strike this All Might straight to the chest. As he lands the blow, All Might would begin to static, as he begins to fracture, and All Might tells him that he's going to have to do way better than that. Izuku stands his ground, and all of this energy surges from all the bits of technology around, and as it combines with Izuku looks to channel it all through one singular blow. He reaches both of his hands out, and he can feel this surge of electricity, but also fragments of time itself shattering, as if he's sending this wave of time and space toward this one and only different version of All Might, to this evil version of All Might. He's going to give it all he has, every last bit of it. And he tells All Might that in his world, he's a hero, someone that would never give up on a single person. He's not sure where it all went and how it all went wrong in this world, but he is done torturing everybody. He is done, and he's going to make sure that it's over for him. And as all of the energy waves shoot towards All Might, and as Izuku begins to shake insanely fast, as if his body is not only phasing but glitching out to an extent he's never felt it glitch out before, dodging and weaving All Might's attacks, he grabs onto All Might, and his body begins to glitch out with him in his arms, basically, as he has his arm wrapped around All Might's neck. He tells Sir Nighteye to get out of here, because this is the last time this villain will hurt this world ever again. Izuku has spent days here, only days, but his instincts are kicking in, and all he wants to do is defend those people who need it. And he refuses to let this version of All Might hurt this world ever again. And as he does, and as the glitch begins to spread through All Might, as if it's basically corrupting him or getting rid of him entirely, Izuku would get pushed off of All Might. All Might still resisting the powers that is basically surging through himself. Izuku's powers itself is different. In the other world, he used his glitch-like fragments to track people down. This is pure corruption. This is pure just raw strength and power that is surging, destroying every ounce of All Might. This is different, something he's never felt, something that he didn't know he could feel. This power feels almost evil, almost diabolical, but this version of Izuku, he's going to have to figure out how to use it to its purest extent so that he can help people, not hurt people. But Izuku watches as All Might throws one last punch at him, and Izuku would phase, glitching to the maximum he possibly can, and using all of that power in this last punch. As All Might's fist would about to connect with Izuku's fist, Izuku could feel everything shifting, and then shattering. Izuku would shatter the time that he's in, almost the multiverse shifting once again, and he's at a city that is bright and colorful, but it looks like it's still in UA, as his fist collides with All Might's. But this All Might, well, he has the same coloring, the same things that the other All Might had, or the normal All Might has, and Izuku can tell. By the electromagnetic field's power surging through him, he can feel that this is his world. He clashes with All Might, and the power explodes. All Might goes flying toward the opposite gate, and Izuku staggers back, and he looks to his side. Bakugo is standing right there, and he tells the nerd to wake the hell up, because they have a final exam to win. In which Izuku's like, final exam? In which Izuku has no idea what the hell is going on, but it doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter a single bit. All that matters is that he's back, and all that matters is that he wins. And then they charge at All Might, as Izuku's charged up power from both universes clashes with All Might's fist one more time, and with an explosion from Bakugo, it engulfs All Might and sends him flying, crashing toward a building. Bakugo grabs Izuku and blasts off, seeing that Izuku is massively weakened, and they land on the outside and they pass through the gates. And as the voice comms would turn on, they would say the winners are Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki Bakugo. Izuku is in complete shock. What has happened? What is going on? Bakugo is confused. What the hell do you mean? What's going on? The final exams, we just took the written portion. I mean, we just took on All Might. We just came back from the internships early. What are you talking about? Izuku is just standing there like, what? And he asks, and I was coherent for it all? I was here. I was in the internships. In which Bakugo says, yeah, are you stupid? Yes. Yes, you were. In which Izuku scratches his head, and Bakugo asks him, how badly did he hit his head? In which Izuku is like, no, it's not that. Never mind. Don't worry about it. They walk away, and they are considered the winners of this final exam. But the thing is, Izuku is taken back. He was sent briefly and glitched out into a world where All Might was evil. Everybody's quirks were slightly different or exactly the same. Color patterns were slightly changed. Personalities were different. UA was changed slightly as well, but what was it? It's like he glitched out into this other universe, glitched out into this other plane of existence, in which he thinks to himself, he needs to talk to Mei Hatsume, like ASAP. And that's exactly what he does. He goes racing off to her lab after they pass the exam, and he talks to her, explaining everything. And Mei basically says that he's worked on multiple projects since the end of the UA Sports Festival, in which, by the way, he ended up winning, so she doesn't understand that whole concept. But again, Izuku tells her, like, no, I know it sounds crazy, but that wasn't him. Explaining the other universe, what happened, who was different, how she was different, everybody was different, even if it was just slight in personality or in quirk or whatever. And even said that All Might was a villain. I mean, it was an odd thing. Maybe more power, maybe the excess power from both the universes or timelines or whatever allowed him to defeat him briefly, or maybe he doesn't even know. He doesn't know, but he knows that he must have swapped places with a different Izuku Midoriya, in which Mei would say that does make a lot of sense, actually. In which Izuku asks, "What do you mean? Like, how do you know?" And immediately she would explain that Izuku was a little bit different, a little bit more taken back, a little bit more dormant, not super serious and not super excited about certain things. She would even bring up certain revelations that they came across, but he was so dormant about them. Not like the giggly, inspired Izuku that she knew. And she always wondered, maybe it was something that happened during a training session. Maybe it was something that happened during one of their internships or something like that. But now that he says it, it was a lot different. It's like he was confused too, but kept it extremely low key until now. Until now she can see the normal Izuku. And she's kind of weirded out by it, thinking that, wow, there was like literally a different version of him just walking among them. And immediately he would say, well, it was kind of like a different version of his subconscious. A different version of himself, yes, but it was still him in body. But yes, it was a different version in terms of mindset, and also personality, I guess, and subconscious and stuff like that. But yeah, it is very odd to think about, in which Izuku would say that he hopes that she didn't say anything crazy to him, but she's like, well, normal things that I do say, of course, right? It's the same old. So he was still sent back into his own time, but Izuku will have no connection to him further, at least not for now. Izuku is then told by Mei to, like, look, just go about things normally. It hasn't been that long. I know it's been at least a couple weeks in this time, which Izuku says that it was only like 4 or 5 days in the other time, in which Mei was like, that's okay. That's also another thing that is unexplainable and something that she doesn't want to get into just now, because that is going to hurt her head. But basically, don't worry about anything that happened. Worry about now, right? They got a forest training camp thing or whatever it is. Worry about now. And take this, giving him a device that basically will allow him to kind of make his glitches or his glitch-like abilities and technological abilities into longer ranged attacks, in which Izuku sees this and says, well, like the other version of him, he was able to shoot attacks like without something like this, but he was able to shoot them and they did something to people's bodies that were, well, crazy. In which Mei's like, well, I don't want to hear that either, because that is wild and that is insane. And frankly, again, my head's hurting. So Izuku's like, okay, we'll talk about this another time, but thanks for the little bit of an upgrade. In which Mei's like, no problem, as he just heads off and basically goes back to what they were doing. But here's the thing. Like, Izuku just goes back home like everything's normal, but it's really not normal. Everything feels so odd. It's like he's expecting things to be a certain way, and even though he was in a different universe for only a couple days, from 4 to 5 days or something like that, it still feels as if everything is so different now. Yes, he's back home. Yes, he's back doing this or that, but it doesn't make sense almost. It's as if the way his mother acts is different, but he knows that it's exactly the same. Like, this is the version that he remembers, but it's as if his mind and body were kind of adjusting to that other version, and now he's kind of all scrambled. But luckily, he has some time to do some training with the Force training camp coming up, and that's exactly what he's looking forward to. Because once they get on that bus and they head off to the Force training camp, when they get kicked off and they have to fight these like Earth-like monsters, it definitely is a bit of a release for Izuku, being able to relax and enjoy some time and kind of just train as much as possible, learning how to basically turn these glitches into projectiles, but also how to blip in and out of basically reality and basically cover distance in a different way, but also make it so that his punches and stuff like that just coincide with how fast and how strong he can be. He can basically teleport in a way, but he can also just add an additional power to his basically punching ability. But now, with all that said, the Force training camp is going pretty damn good for Izuku in terms of just growing in strength and power and stuff like that. But eventually, the villains would invade. And eventually he would be face to face with a monstrous person by the name of Muscular. Muscular is a freak of nature, and Izuku has to face him down in defense of a little kid by the name of Koda. And that's exactly what he does. Izuku would attack Muscular and would try to overwhelm him quickly, but it's obvious that Muscular in strength is extremely powerful. So Izuku tries to take a play out of the handbook of his alternate self and tries to chew at the muscles of Muscular using the glitches. As he does this, Muscular's body and also muscles would begin to deteriorate. And Izuku can feel that he has even more control than normal. He begins to control this disintegration of the muscles and slowing down of this strength, and gets it to the point where Muscular is a normal person, and leading to Izuku teleporting basically behind him, landing a kick to the back of his head and knocking him out cold. Izuku looks toward Koda and tells him that they need to get out of here now. He picks him up and runs off as basically the forest is lit ablaze, and he would try to get him out of there to a safe place, in which luckily enough he's able to get him out of there to a safe spot where Aizawa is, and Aizawa tells him to stay put, that they're gonna need his help, but with Izuku staying put and Izuku helping those at the training camp and at the campgrounds, well, it seems like someone else on the other hand is actually getting taken, in which this is an insane idea, but Izuku doesn't know until basically it's too late. Everything is calm, everything's dormant, but then it's heard. Shoto Todoroki has been taken by the villains, and there's really only one reason. It's the passion behind that last attack where he used his fire and ice side toward Izuku. The kind of anger in his eyes, even though they didn't know exactly what it meant, they think that they might be able to get him to turn sides and maybe even pivot him against his father. That is something that Izuku can't even believe they would think would work, but Izuku and also his friends are thinking that they can get him out of there and they can be useful and they can help. But that is going to be a plan that is going to be extremely difficult, and Izuku, Momo, and many others like Bakugo and also of Kirishima and Ochako, they're all ready, and Tenya are all ready to basically try their best to save Shoto Todoroki and save him from the League of Villains led by Shigaraki. But a rude awakening would come when they would try and save him. A rude awakening when their plan would go awry very quickly because there's another villain in play. Another villain that Izuku knew as a hero in the other world. A hero that passed on a while back. But this villain, he has not passed on, and he is all powerful. This is All For One. And that is what is going to throw a wrench in the plan to save Todoroki. But you're going to have to find out what happens in the next part of What If Izuku or What If Deku had a glitch quirk. And if you enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.